No, it's still morning. Vietnam. How are you this morning? How the hell are you? You doing good? It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Good morning. Good morning-ish. It's almost 11. Not quite. And noon that's going to be annoying, constitutes afternoon anyways, right? So finding balance, sitting here, enjoying my time with you guys. Had a very relieving meeting first thing this morning. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day. Anybody else have that? Anybody else have the weird shit going on kind of thing? Hey, Kelly, anybody else have the weird shit going on? Because there's some weird shit going on. I don't know what's going on. Some astrology person let me know. Because what? First of all, we have a Sasquatch on the move in Ohio, right? Of course, Ohio is actually the highest sightings of Sasquatch anywhere in the country. Believe it or not. We have more sightings per year than any other state. But last week, we had 8 sightings in 6 days? Moving from Canton area? Come on, y'all. That's only an hour and a half away from us. And moving down towards Columbus area, east of Columbus area, right? So they're following a mountain range there. Where they started to migrate from, get this shit, is where the meteor hit, where the meteor fell, that 6-foot long meteor. So where they were migrating from is where that meteor came in. Come on. Oh, you've been busy. How did you like that? So Bill popped in on my feed yesterday, and I just shared it because I needed to, and I've needed to be shored up by him just a little bit recently, and that picture of him sitting there in the hospital was so, yeah, you got this. Don't worry about it. And I needed that because yesterday was really turbulent with his brother. And I have what? Oh, I haven't been on a lot because I've been doing a lot of things in the background with my Uncle Augie, and we're having to sell his house and just getting him into out of a facility into a space, okay, into his own apartment. And it's been very turbulent. And finally, I think we have some resolution, kind of. But I had a meeting this morning, and it's all going very well. Yeah, when I saw Bill, and I can't talk about it too much because I'll start crying. I just needed that because I'm really tired of I want some peace and calm in my life, and that's why I haven't been on. So if I don't have peace and calm, I try not to convey that to everybody else, right? And we had the expo, so I've been juggling. I've had a couple balls in the air, and I'm starting to see some resolution. So thank God, because I am not a spring chicken. I'll get on here and we'll do readings and we'll laugh and we'll have fun, but there's real moments too, right? We're not all spring chickens anymore, and trying to do all of the things is difficult. I went to do something this morning and I'm like, holy shit, I don't have the strength in my arms. I used to be able to haul around a couple 50-pound bags of horse feed. That ain't happening anymore. Jesse's at the store this morning. How are you, Jesse? So yesterday was like this. Yesterday was a roller coaster of, does he have a space? Does he not have a space? Anyways, so he does. I had a meeting this morning. His apartment place they're fantastic. They're fantastic. Found black mold at the facilities in though. Right above his bed. So he'll be moving out of there on Monday. Anyways, lots of things are changing, lots of ups and downs, but I got to tell you, I'm still coming down off of the expo, which was wonderful. So I'm going to tell you what I had happen. Right? That's why I'm like, the energies right now are so insane. I don't know what's going on, but I went to leave and I'll just call the facility that he's in the other day, 2 days ago, went to leave his facility. After hours, I took him some nose spray and some Pepsi because, who doesn't need that? Anyways, so I'm leaving the facility, and it's a locked facility. So I had to make sure nobody was following me out the door. Nobody was following me. It was after hours. Everybody was kind of tucked in, and I make sure the door closes behind me. It latches, it's secure. I have 30 feet to get to the door, to get to the other door to the front, right? All the offices are between here and there, and they're all closed, they're all locked up and everything. And so when we first started our spiritual journey, we have all these really cool things happen, right? Like we get to hear voices out loud occasionally and touches and all these really cool things. So I'm walking, and if you know me, if I'm out in public, I'm muggling. Nobody knows what I do. And it's not that I'm ashamed of what I do at all. If somebody asks me what I do, I'm going to tell you I'm a psychic medium. If you ask me. If you don't, I'm like every other muggle out there. I don't walk around going, look what I can do, throwing rose petals in the air. I don't do that because you know what? I don't feel like it's anything special. I think everybody has the capacity to do this. We're all special. There's no reason to go around screaming at the top of the lungs what we do. In my book, we're all different, right? It's okay. It's the way I work. So anyways, so nobody there knows what I do. So nobody's messing with me. Okay. I'm walking through the hallway after I've gotten through the closed locked door, and I hear out loud, clear as a bell, excuse me. Hair raises on my arms, and I'm like, oh, that's not a person. It sounds like a person. Crystal clear. Sounds like a person. I can tell this is a young Black man just by his inflection, and he sounds hopeful and polite and just help me, excuse me, just like that, right? But since I muggle most of the time, it alarmed me. So I was like, so I turned around, I checked to make sure nobody was in the bathroom. Because this is a facility. It's not, it's kind of like a mental facility. So I'm like, if somebody gets out, then it's my fault. So I checked the bathroom, nobody there. I check around the corners, there's nobody there, nobody by the door. So I'm like, okay, all right. It just startled me because it was so out in the world. It wasn't an intuitive thing. It was an out in the world thing. So I'm like, okay. So I start walking towards the door again, and I put my hand on the door, and I hear, excuse me, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Now, having been somebody that has brought something home before, I was like, Lisa's going home to Sage. Lisa's going home to Sage. And I got in the car, and I called Shannon, and I went, blah, 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 and it had ruffled me. We're allowed to be ruffled, you guys. Just because you're an intuitive doesn't mean you don't pick your feet up real fast as you get into bed, right? Could be a monster under there. You don't know. I think we see more now than we did before. Now we kind of go, maybe I need to pick my feet up a little bit faster. So anyways, I don't do that really, not all the time. Only when I feel like there's something hinky in the bedroom. But I got away from the situation. I didn't run. I just walked to my car, and I'm like, well, shit. And in good morning, Mary. But now I'm very much in the hopes that that energy is still there when I walk back in the door, because I'm going to wrap that young man up in light and help him move along, because it was very aware. It wasn't a residual. It wasn't a repeat. It was very aware. And I'm like, that little guy here, he needs some help. So I'm going to go in, and we're going to wrap him up in Archangel Michael, and we're going to move him along. But I felt really bad for him. And it is okay to have our hair blown back every once in a while. You know that? That's what makes this so exciting. If you don't get your hair blown back every once in a while and be like, holy crap, look at that, then you shouldn't be doing this. Mina, good morning. We should become consistently amazed and blown away by our intuition and the energies that come forth. I believe it. I always do. But this little guy blew my hair back a little bit to the point where I was like, oh, there could be some really hinky things here. So I had to sit back and think about it a little bit. And yeah, he needs some help going to the light. So I'm going to do that. And as I'm thinking about this, the little guy that I knew there was a medical emergency that morning, day before yesterday. I knew there was a medical emergency. As I was pulling in, an ambulance took off. And as I was talking to Og, somebody came in looking for somebody, and they're like, we're sorry, there was a medical emergency. We tried calling you. They're gone off in the ambulance. It was a situation. And I didn't see this nice young man that I usually see when I'm there. So I'm kind of concerned. Anyhow, good morning. That is my weirdness of the week. We all should have weirdness of the week. Anybody else have weirdness of the week? But for all intents and purposes, Augie has an appointment on Monday, and things move forward and progress, as does life. Okay. That's my weirdness of the week. So if everybody could share out to a friend, invite a friend, share to your group, share to your page, whatever, I would appreciate it. And we are going to pull in a card for everybody. Hospital, medical care centers, airports, all have souls who need a little help getting to the light. Yeah, I agree, Renee. I usually am just so, my guides are just like, woof. I don't normally get bothered. Hey, Amy, I just don't normally get bothered. It has to be pretty hard knocking on my door for my guides to be like, okay, we'll do this. But that young man just came through so crystal clear. It's like he just totally circumvented my guides. Totally. It wasn't even a struggle. He just was so crystal clear. I was Amy Treywick. Good morning. I was Jade. Good morning. Jade is new. Everybody give Jade a welcome. So it was just, it was interesting. It was so interesting. Okay, let's pull a card. That's my weird for the day. He saw my love. You think that's a? I don't know. It made me sad. I get sad every time I go in there. I've cried coming out of there because it is so depressing. And all I can think of is some of these people have totally been forgotten. Like they're in there and they have nobody to advocate for them. It's so sad. So Sam and I are going to do, when we get older, we're going to hire an aide, and we are going to go on worldwide cruises and keep ourselves on cruise ships for our golden years. And then we'll just have an extra room for an aide. It'll be a lot cheaper than getting into, a lot cheaper than getting assisted living. Trust me. I've been looking into it, not for myself, but for Augie. I mean, let me do some math. I'll tell you how much. It's 11:11. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's a lot cheaper. Now, don't get me wrong. Where he's going is like a cruise ship on land. If he doesn't like what's being served for dinner, he can order off this other menu and they'll deliver it to his room. And he's worked very, very hard his whole entire life to have that kind of pension, right? So good for him. Hey, Kim Ingram, how are you? But it is a whole lot cheaper. Sam and I could sail around the world on a cruise ship for a year and hit the same amount of money. It's a scam, y'all. Not that I really feel like this facility, his apartments are fabulous. They're great. They really are. Yeah, they really, really are. Amy says that happened to me while I was cleaning a house. I thought it was newly built, and it was, but the house burnt down before that. He asked for help, and I called in Archangel Michael to assist. Absolutely. That's our go-to. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Isn't it, Kim? The place that he's going, I mean to tell you, it's amazing. It's amazing. It really, really is. And they've worked very hard to get him in there. And I mean, really hard to get him in there because he had some issues. But here's the crazy thing, you guys. The place that he's going is posh, posh. The place that he is $3,000 more a month than the posh, posh place. And there's black mold on the ceiling. I mean, I'm going to leave those cards right there. Obviously, this isn't the deck for me today. They're all over the place. I can't in any good faith leave them there. So you get to look at my ass. Okay, here we go. And I grab the chair so it doesn't slide out from underneath me, and then I become comedy for the day. More of a comedy for the day. Okay. This is 2-bedroom. So he is if he had an apartment like independent living, it'd be cheaper by thousands and thousands of dollars. Follow. I know. Just nice to see you the other day. Okay, here we go. Card for the day. Those are mine. Like half the deck fell on the floor. Card for the day. Love this. I'm not going to Christmas. The Dawn Watcher. Bells will ring, heralding in new things. Beginning anew. Beginning anew. That's what these energies feel like right now. Like we're beginning anew. So that's really awesome. And there's talking that goes with that. So anybody that was around with while we were when I was online with the eclipse a couple years ago, I had an emotional thing, not an emotional thing. And then we're talking about boundaries and letting people get in our boundaries or not. Look at that little blue guy. He's all melty. What is that? Oh, that's cloth. It's not a dragon. That's pretty. Really pretty. Look at that dragon. He just knows so many things. He's like, I shall stomp you with my staff if you want to try and press those boundaries. I have now had my third session, not session, my third thing. I'm not going to talk about it. No, it's all right. Well, it's a long story. It's a long story. Let's do some readings. It's a very long story. It's a long story. Okay. Can I get a whoop whoop in the room? It's cool, but it's a long story. It's like, who does that? Can I get a whoop whoop? Cheryl, I love the way your name is spelled. That's different. Pamela, hello. Can I get a witness? Can I get a whoop whoop? So the whoop whoop, if you're new, is to let me know who's in the room. And that way I can see your energy as well. So that's what that's for. I want to go with Monica Peterson. I want to talk, Monica, about if you have moments where you feel like you're talking to yourself and you feel like you like, where did that come from? I wouldn't have said that. That kind of thing. You have a lot of clear audience going on right now. And this is for Monica Peterson. There's a lot of clear audience going on for you right now. So you need to be following your intuition. You need to be following your inner voice. Feel like going left? You normally go right, go left. Do that. That's a little one, right? That's just a little idea of what our intuition helps us with. And ups and downs, and they're showing me. I love that. I love that, Cheryl. I love that. Oh, that makes me want to cry. I'm really emotional right now. I'm not sure if it's menopause, what it is. Menopause sucks, whatever. But I do love it. So, Monica, the ups and downs that you're going through right now, ride it, girl. Ride it. It'll be okay. You know exactly what you need on the other end of the turmoil and the ups and the downs. Oh, I'm supposed to pull you these. Okay, calm down. Calm down. You have very vocal guides this morning. They're like, what in the world? Good Lord. Good morning, Ish. Edlin says, hi, Grandma. Pumpkin. Hi, Pumpkin. Oh, it's getting warm. Grandma has a zoo pass too, you know. Gonna take the kidlings to the frylings to the zoo. Grandpa and I are excited. Okay. So Monica, oh gosh, when things seem overwhelming, you need to see through it. See through it. I don't know what you have going on the other end of all the ups and downs, but they're talking about being in charge of finances. They're talking about being the one that can see, because it's like when there feels like there's a lot going on and we are like overcome, just know that on the other end, you are bringing yourself into a new era, which is also where that community card comes through, right? Seeing through and moving forward. That's so whatever you have going on, pay attention. Pay attention to your intuition, follow your intuition. You're gonna be so surprised on the other end when it all works out. She sounds like she smokes a pack a day right now. Oh, sickness can't stay away from us, it seems. Yeah, so Henry's in school and I'm sure he's bringing home all of the African weeping fungus. I'm certain. Okay, moving on. Can I have a whoop whoop? Can a pack a day? Can I get a witness? Calling a beach day? Nurse Giggity. How are you? Yeah, if I could call a beach day, we're gonna be in we're spending five nights in Key West, all the way down to the bottom of Key West in May, and it's not coming soon enough. Okay. Amy Treywick. Anxiety, Amy. Anxiety. Let's let that shit go. They're talking about, oh my good Lord, what are you doing? What are you doing? I've never been to Key West. You know, we've never been. Oh my God. I mean, this is great. Amy, I'm just going to keep pulling cards. Okay. Let's talk. Amy. Amy Treywick. I need you to be the glass half full. Okay? Watch The Secret. Be the glass half full person to the point of annoyance of other people. I'm going to show you the cards that I have, and we're going to talk our way through this. I'm going to love Key West. I want to go fishing. We're trying to decide whether to put the boat in this year. We know we need downtime, but it's a very slim downtime this year, so we're just not sure what we're going to do. We haven't decided yet. Okay. And I don't like Lake Erie on a small boat. Like if it's not 24 feet, I don't want to be on it. I am terrified of Lake Erie. Childhood. I'm scarred from it. So you need a good foundation of an idea, Amy Treywick. I want you to have a good ideas are wonderful, but if you have too many floating around, is your thought process structured? Are you ADHD? Is everything all over the place? Your brain is moving a million miles an hour. Okay. And it's kind of taken you like this. So I have this first one. They're like, hey, it's great to be in command and in charge of all of your thought processes, getting new ideas, and being that person that's in charge. But I feel like you have so much going on. You have too many that the Fool is the journey. This card represents the journey of the whole deck. This pull is of the whole deck. This card represents all of it. It's just what point in the journey are you in, right? So this card's upside down and it feels like this is your life right now. It's all upside down. I don't know which way's up. I feel so turned around. all that, right? Let's move on. Let's move on. Because then we have the tower. And yes, the tower is reversed, but this doesn't say that you are structured. What this says is, oh no, Renee, that's not. I've bounced out of the boat when I was very young in Lake Erie. Lake Erie is a very dangerous lake. If you don't know that lake, you don't mess with that lake. I mean, you go out on the lake, but you don't go out there and just in a little boat. It's Lake Erie is very mercurial. You probably know that. So the tower card talks about the fool. The fool feels upside down. The fool doesn't know the structure, what's going on right now. And it's just everything's all over the place. And it seems like the house of cards could fall at any moment because you have so many things and you don't keep them straight in your brain because everything's rushing in all the time. It's time for some structure. It's time to let go of the things that do not serve you and move towards peace. And they're actually showing this. My guides are like, pour some of these cups out. Not all this stuff that's going on in your life is yours. Why are you invested in other people's garbage? Make sure you're pouring somebody else's cups out, because the only thing that's happening is when you're invested in other people's stuff is you stop. There's a full stop on your progression. So pay attention. And here's the thing. You may not even realize you're invested in somebody else emotionally because you're an empath. You may not realize that you've got your foot over in their pool and you're picking up their garbage because you're not aware that it's not yours. You have to ask yourself, is this mine? Do some muscle testing or get a pendulum or something. Is this mine? Why am I so invested in this? Let it go. If you're invested online and all the things going on in the world, you know what? Take a day off. Whatever it is that you're invested in. I mean, my brain hurts. Give yourself a little bit of time. And don't just jump into new things, because you take it deep. Okay? Don't just jump into new things. Think things through. You're going to move forward, and it's fine. It just needs to be. You just need to make sure that what you're doing and what you're experiencing is yours. Yeah, that's helpful. People don't realize how dangerous the Great Lakes are. The Great Lakes are they can be very dangerous. The Great Lakes are literally inland oceans. I'm close to Lake Superior and agree with you. So Lake Erie is so shallow that when a storm blows in, it has no choice but to go from little waves to big waves quickly, and storms move in very quickly. I've had three instances when I was little that I almost died on the Great Lakes. So I'm very respectful. And if we're not on our big boat, big boat, I'm double jacketed. When I was about 4 or 5, it was right after Jaws came out. I popped out of a speedboat. My mom was water skiing, and we were spotters. My brother and I were spotters, and my dad was driving it. It was one of those low to the water ones, and I stood up just at the same time as a wave hit the front of the boat, and I flew through the air. I remember being in the air, flying through the air, and I landed out in the river, Ottawa River, and my mom saw me, and she just immediately dropped, and she just had a tube on, so she couldn't swim. So I remember bobbing out in the water, and all I could think of was, I'd never watched Jaws, but I did see the cover of the movie, like where the shark comes up out of the water and gets the swimmer, and I was really little, and I remember bobbing in the water thinking Jaws was coming up to get me. I didn't know. I had that incident, and then we had one where the storm blew in, and we were all the kids were huddled in the bow, and we were trying to get to one of the little islands so that we wouldn't, because we were flooding. And then we had another time when we were in a canoe. Oh my God. I have a lot of respect for Lake Erie. A lot of respect. So I love to fish. It's a real problem. Okay, moving on. Can I have a whoop whoop? Oh no. Lori, I did not see that. Thank you for letting me know. How are you, Lori? I did not know that. Okay. Moving on. Moving on. I'm thinking of you, Lori. She posted this morning. I am going with Mina. Mina. Let's see where this pulls us. Oh yeah, I know, but I'm not like. I don't have. I know people like the beach, and I like the beach. The beach is pretty. I think the beach is a wonderful way to get to the fish. I love the fish. I loved ocean fish, but we eat them. We don't just like, do it for fun. It's something we put in the freezer, and we definitely eat it. But yeah, I'm not one to sit on the beach. I don't have the. I'm always doing something. I'm always moving. I'm always doing something. I can't sit on the beach and relax because I'm like, this is such a waste of time. Why are we sitting in the sand? Now, on Hawaii, it was a different story. Sam and I really enjoyed going to the beach in Hawaii, but just to sit on the beach and like soak up the sun, I'm like, I get sun doing other things. I have, yes, I have shore fished. I'm not a huge shore fisher. I would rather go out on the pier, but yeah, I do fish from shore. I do fish from shore. We stocked our pond out back with walleye. What? It has perch in there and walleye and shell crackers and big channel cats. Can't wait to go fishing in there with the grandkids. Mina, let's pull these. Mina, even if it feels like things aren't moving forward, they are. If you are wrapping yourself up emotionally in the things you don't feel like you're getting done, you're never going to see the things that you're accomplishing. I challenge everybody to like look at yourself from 5 years ago. Are you the same person? Of course you're not. You're not the same person you were 5 minutes ago. So look at your accomplishments and put them down. I know I love to. I'm not a big. Here's the thing. I'm not a big fish eater. I will eat lake eared perch, walleye, and cod. I do enjoy fresh tuna, like fresh tuna. But the other fish, I'm like salmon. I'll eat it, but I don't really like it. Okay, Mina, just know, Renee, I'll talk about that in a second. Just know that everything balances out. It may not feel like you are taking huge leaps and strides forward, but don't let that get you down, okay? Because if you do, the only person that's going to suffer from that is you. You're seeing your own shortfallings. We do that really well, don't we? We do that really well. We see our shortcomings before we see our gains a lot of times. Because I think we're trained to do that, like always be achiever. So pay attention to that. And if it doesn't feel like everything's working out in your favor, you need to know this card comes out and Temperance says there's balance. There's balance. You just may not be seeing it all the time. Wow. I would really also challenge you to check in on your self-talk. Make sure you're talking to yourself wonderfully. Always. Always talk to yourself wonderfully. Be like, I am achieving. I am doing. I am worthy. I am worthy. You're worthy of so many things. And I hope you feel that. I hope you feel that because that's important. Because these cards here, and I'm going to show them. Like, nothing's always, nothing works out. I'm not feeling my own power. Those things. But here's what I have to tell you. There's balance in all things. So be the person that sees the positive stuff. Okay? Seems to be a thing today, right? And what you're doing in life is going to work out. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Don't struggle. Don't struggle. Don't struggle. Because the more we see it as a struggle, the more we do struggle. I know it sounds like, what kind of wisdom is that? Um, I love this. I do love this, Renee. Renee says, oh, Lisa, they're saying whether or not you're on a beach or in a boat, you're still sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting for a bite. So I fish with my hands. I'm the person that wraps their finger in the line, and I can sit there and just sit there for hours and just be waiting. And perch fishing, yellow perch fishing is different because their bite is so tiny, it doesn't even feel like a bite. So you have to be really patient. You have to be really quiet, and not really quiet. I think that's what our parents did to get us to shut up. But it's peaceful. And what I really, really love about it is when Sam and I are out in the boat, it's just Sam and I. We don't usually have cell signal. It's just me and him, and it's quiet and peaceful, and there's just no other part of the world out there than us. And that is where I find my peace. And I really do love that. Anytime I'm with Sam, I find my peace. But that is total peace and solitude. And we haven't had it in a couple of years because we've been busy. And that's why we're like, do we put it in or do we not put it in? But it's where I find a lot of peace. And it's, yes, I'm fishing and I'm having a great time, but I'm sitting right next to Sam doing it. And nobody else is searching for our time. It's being present in the now. Yeah, it's my being present in the now. So, and that's important. How often do you guys find yourself present in the now? Centered in the moment, right here, right now. And we struggle with that because as humans, we're always searching for the next thing. We got to keep moving. Sam is great. At this moment, he is right now at a service for his stepmother who passed away, and I could not go. And to not be able to be there for him is really, really hard because we're always there for each other. And I had to work, and I'm dealing with Og. So my Uncle Augie. So we're trying to find balance, and it's hard to find balance sometimes, isn't it? But living in the moment is really, really important, you guys. I hope you all achieve it at one point in life or another, finding that peace and quiet that resides right here in doing what you love to do in one way or another. Tracy Schwartz is new here and she gets to see me all teared up. Yeah, I love my husband that much. He's kind of not mad at me. He's irritated about a dream I had the other day. You guys want to take an idea? You want to take a guess about what the dream was about? I'll give you a minute. You want to take a stab at what the dream was about? It's probably not what you think. But being in the now, if we could just live quietly, wouldn't that be fantastic? If we weren't pulled in a million different directions. But this is where we learn, right? This is where we learn. You're more of a shore dock person. I'll sit on the dock and fish. That's how I spent most of my childhood, sitting on the dock and fishing. That's how I met Sam, by the way. I was fishing at my friend's lake hours away from where we lived as children. And I was fishing. I caught a dogfish. And if you catch dogfish, you don't put it back in because it eats all the other fish and chases them all away. So I had it on the stringer. And her and I went on the catamaran. We're 11, you guys. 11. And I look up to the dock, and here's this dude, this young guy, taking my stringer up the dock. I'm like, hey, who the hell are you? What are you doing? Bring my fish. And he was taking the fish up because he'd never seen it before to show his stepdad. And that's how Sam and I met. Through fishing. But I had this dream, so I'm going to tell you about my dream. Hey, Rhoda. I'm going to tell you about my dream. So I've had 3 instances recently in the last 2 years. So it's over 2 years. My first one happened during the solar eclipse that we had go over Ohio. Um, and it was to everybody else very disturbing. To myself, it was absolute peace, calm, and tranquility. I was sitting in, everybody else was out watching the solar eclipse, and I had the grandkids inside because, we don't need them looking at the sun, right, at that time. So everybody else was out front of the store, the metaphysical store, watching the solar eclipse. And I'm sitting there because we saw it in Montana a couple years before that, and I was like, whatever. And it's cool, but other people in the family hadn't really seen it, so they were out there. And I'm sitting at the table, and I have Adeline right here in front of me on the table, and Henry's in the reading room, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm watching everybody out front, and all of a sudden, it was like this slow dome. And when I do this, I feel it again. So I try to, but same with stealing my fish at that age. So I felt this slow moving dome. That's such a weird feeling, as it just kind of went like this and it settled around me. And I'm still holding Adeline on the table, and she's just giggling and we're talking. And this this bubble filled with the most beautiful, peaceful, tranquil moment of time. I don't know how to put it. It was as if everything else slowed down. I could still see everybody out front doing their thing, and Sam was out there with them, and they're all enjoying themselves. And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching, and I'm like, but I was so calm. I'm like, what is going on? Because it felt like a bubble, and everything else was going on outside, but what happened in that bubble was just for me. It was crazy. And then I heard I heard somebody go, crystal clear. This is one of your stop points. This is one of your points where you've set up to be able to step away from this life and move along. And I wasn't scared. I wasn't alarmed. I was intrigued. Like, what does that look like? If I were to just stop, what does that look like? Not that I was entertaining it, but I was like, And I knew that if I said yes to stopping, that the baby would fall on the floor, and that Henry would be right there watching, and Sam would come in from the door, and he would be devastated because we're just way too tied. He'd be devastated, and I would be on the floor. So I knew, right? It's what would happen. And I went, not right now. This is fine. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I can continue. I'm good, right? Who gets a choice? Whose guides come in and say, would you like to take this step off point now? Right? And I'm like, so after I'm like, no, I'm really good. And the bubble lifts. Nothing else was said. The bubble lifts. And about this time, the solar eclipse is over. This happened during the solar eclipse, right? Like, who sets this timing up? So I'm sitting there, and it must have hit me afterwards that this major spiritual thing just happened. Like this major spiritual thing. I could have signed off right then. I know I would have too. If I'd said yes, they'd have been like, okay, done. Baby would have been on the floor. Henry would have been traumatized. My husband would have been a mess. Right? The kids were outside too. They had been upset. So I just decided, I guess, to stick around. So anyways, so it was a major spiritual event that I had happen. and it shook me. So when they come in, I had this look on my face, and Sam's like, "What's going on? What's wrong?" And I told him, and he's like, "This shit's not funny. This shit's not funny at all." So I'm like, he didn't sleep good for a week. I'm like, "Babe, if it was going to happen, it would have happened in that moment. If it's not going to happen just spontaneously, it would happen in that moment." Well, anyways, so about a year ago, I was driving down the road and it happened again. But I'm driving down the road. That's alarming to me. And it was very brief. It was almost like they just touched and said, "Now?" And I was like, "No, I'm driving." I'm like, "Nope, not now. Not now." So I just, that was just a touch. And then the other night I woke up and I was very, very aware. Now I don't remember hardly anything I'm dreaming. I was very aware of this dream where I had, and this is going to sound alarming. Please do not think I'm like suicidal or anything like that. I'm not. But I had this dream that they had this thing, this pill, that if you took this pill, that you would just fade away. You would just fade away. There was no pain. There would be no pain associated with it, no anxiety, no nothing. And I've, to be fair, have been exhausted the last 2 months. Okay. I'm juggling a lot of different things, and physically and emotionally, I'm drained. I need a vacation. But in this dream, I said, "I'll take 2." So I'm like, "Please, I would love 2 of those." And so I took these 2 fade away pills. I'm fine. Okay. And in my dream, and I was like, "You know what? I better go around and say goodbye," because it just seemed like some people did. And so I went to my sister, and she was just so upset about something else that she wasn't listening to me. And I was like, "Okay." So I went over to Sam, and I was trying to find Sam, and Sam was alone and crying over on this hill, and he was just devastated because he thought I was gone. And I walked up to him, and he's like, then he got pissed, and he's like, "God damn it." He was mad at me. And am I losing you guys? This is boring, because I mean, it just was like really crazy. And so then I was like, "Okay, I'm here." It didn't work. The pills didn't work. And so now I'm thinking, okay, it's just not my time. And so here I am. The pills didn't work. And now I had prepped myself to be peaceful, have that level of tranquility that I was just like, I just thought I was going to step into it, and it didn't happen. And here's what my husband says to me in the dream, because I told him, I'm like, "It's not working." And he goes, "I'm going to go tell Shannon," my best friend. He's going to go tell Shannon on me. That was his response. And so, but I was like depressed that I didn't get that level of peace in the dream. And when I woke up, I was like, "Oh wow, what a weird dream." I did not associate this to the 2 previous incidents, right? So I'm telling my friend Shannon about it, and she's pissed off. And she goes, "Your spirits need to stop this shit." Right? "Your spirit guides need to stop this shit. It ain't funny. They need to stop giving you all these stopping points." And here's me. I need to go on a diet or something. I need to get healthier or whatever. So she's like, "You understand this is associated to that?" And I went, and she's not even spiritual. And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't." But then when she said it, I associated it because the feelings were the same, right? And so later that evening, I texted this out to Sam while he's at work. And he comes home, he's like, "I couldn't get a thing done today." He said, "All I could think of was that dream, and how your spirit guides are just like right on, like, when do you have their stop off point?" And I said, "You know what? Shannon put that together too." He goes, "How did you not?" I said, "I didn't think of it like that. I just thought of it as a dream." He's like, "No, he hasn't slept good for a week." He's like, "I can barely sleep anymore." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." So, but weird, right? Who gets the choice? Who gets the choice to say, I'm going to pop off right here? This is where I'm going to take my step off. And I think that he is a little neurotic that there's going to be a time that I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm too needy. If I leave, he might find another woman. And then I have to haunt them. That's not rest. There's no rest there. So, anyways, but that I have my hair blown back a lot, especially with those, because it's like tempting. I'm not going to say yes, but it feels like they're tempting to say, we have something else to do. I'm not tempted, but it's just the weirdest feeling. It's the weirdest feeling. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I know where it comes from, but I don't know why. Why would I set that up? Don't know. Oh, Keely, I don't know. I think that when it's presented, we look at things differently. Absolutely. When the opportunity is presented, you look beyond the stress of life to what really matters. And I think a lot of times we miss the what really matters because we're wrapped up in the stress. And we sit back and we look and we go, how do the dominoes fall after this? And that makes a big difference. I don't know, Renee. Did somebody in my Miss Life say that? But how fun it would be to hunt. No, I think I've ruined him. I don't think he's going after another one. I wouldn't go after another guy. I'd be like, no, you can't. How do you compete? How do you compete with the love of life? So, I don't know. It's all good. It's just a little bit alarming sometimes because now it's been consistent. Like it's like every 8 or 9 months this is happening. I need to start walking more or something. You can't compete. I could not imagine. I don't ever want to imagine. My friend and I went to the cemetery to visit his mom. We were walking through the cemetery looking for her, and I get this feeling. I could see us haunting a cemetery like this when we were dead. It was so funny, but a true feeling. Renee, I have been told, and I don't talk about it because it's just the thing, right? That this is my last lifetime. I've been told by many different intuitives that this is my last lifetime. Also been told that I chose to come back here and did not have to. So that's called Earth Angel status, where you chose to come back to be of assistance to other people and didn't need to come back. I don't know. It's just what I've heard. But yeah. I'm not jumping on any out points, Keely, but thank you. Thank you. It was just a thing. It's a thing. The last one started a little alarm me just because I was like, give me two. I was like, what? But I was sleeping. So, that's that subconscious as well. Like, let's look at it and see what that looks like. But it didn't work. It didn't work. So, I don't know. Weirdness, right? Weird. Because maybe my heart wasn't in it. Yeah. That's my weirdness for the day. It's just a thing. Yes, turns out Brian and I had different views on second marriages. Should either of us pass. Yeah, Sam and I are I don't know. You know how hard it is to train a new one? I would imagine it would be difficult. Because people are different nowadays. We met when we were feral. We were feral. I shit you not. Like we were out at 11 years old on a catamaran in this huge lake. Nobody paid attention. Nobody knew we were where we were. Nobody knew. We just were out there. Just I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, because the conscious mind didn't want to. Yeah, there was no agreement there. Have you, the moon is something, we were talking about this very early in this discussion today, Bethany. Something weird is going on. Something weird is in the air. And I'm not an astrologer or astrologist or whatever. I don't know if it's celestial or, oh, that's interesting, or something even radiating from the earth. You're feral. No, nowhere to go with it up. I don't think that. Yeah, we are. People are different now. People are different now. I don't know. Ooh, B, haven't seen you in a long time. How are you? Uh, and I'm not tolerant of shenanigans. Like, I know his shenanigans. They involve chickens. Chickens. And he wants to get a pair of Maine Coon cats. I had to squash that shit. I'm like, no. Too many satellites? Possibly. He wanted to buy these 2 Maine Coon cats and make more Maine Coon cats. And I'm like, absolutely not. So, so I know his shenanigans and he knows mine because I am not shenanigan free. And I talked about him, and I actually sat here in this very spot the other day and talked about shenanigans. And I actually teared up and started crying a little bit. I've been very emotional the last month, and it's probably just being tired. And he was sitting in this other chair right here, and I turned to him and I said, thank you for being involved in my shenanigans. And I started tearing up. And my shenanigans involve overworking, and I know that. It's my own personal flaw. And I just feel like, I always feel like time is so short to get all the things done I want to do. It's how I've always felt. It's how I've lived my life. So I'm always doing things, but man, I am enjoying the hell out of these expos. I have to tell you, I haven't felt as satisfied with myself as I did sitting there watching all these people move in and gathering and chatting and talking and creating a new community. That's what I do. So anyways, but shenanigans, I have them. I don't think anybody's free of shenanigans. And I think that's what helps build who we are and build the relationships and foundations that we grow upon. Is our glitches and our shenanigans. You've been very emotional on the edge in the last few days. It is, well, here's some validation. I'm telling you, it's out there. It's gotta be celestial. I know we're like, is today the last day of the retrograde? I know. I'll tell you what, that monocle bothers me a lot. Renee's like, I was wondering if yesterday, if it's possible for us to switch timelines, like somehow we just switch places with another. So there's an actor that I know passed away. He was in a program the other day. And I looked at Sam and I said, did he die? And he's like, yeah, he died. And I thought so. And it was, he's a comedian. He's a Saturday Night Live comedian. And he has been in a lot of programs with Adam Sandler. And he was in Happy Gilmore. He was the golfer. And he's like, great positivity, all the positivity. We are so positive. That guy, you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, he's tall and he's thin and he's we're going to hit that ball. We're put the ball in its home. No, that was the other guy. But he's this tall guy, and he's always positive. And he was in with Adam Sandler and Janet. They went to Africa. Blended. No, it's not Phil Hartman. Blended. Oh, now I've got to look him up. I remember this man passing away because I was like, oh no, he's always so positive, and he was always like drinking tea and stuff like that. I mean, he was very healthy. And how did he end up passing away? That's so horrible. Let me find him. And I thought, no way. And then he just showed up at a program. I'm like, nah. Oh, here, Kevin Nealon. Yeah, he's 72 years old. He's still alive. Yeah. And Sam and I are both like, because our timeline says he didn't make it very long. I don't know. It's weird. Timelines are weird. Okay. So, hello, y'all. I know Chuck Norris. Don't we all feel that one? It's like childhood died. Blended is a great movie. Blended is a great movie. I have to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. There's always great. I know I'm reading off a screen. I know a lot of you in person though. We've met, whether we've done we will not be doing a gathering this year unless you come to November. If you come to Ohio in November, we'll do a gathering there. But you just seen him in person in October. Yeah, he's alive. But about 3 years ago, Sam and I thought he died. But we will do a gathering next year. We don't know where, probably down by New Orleans. This year, just too much turmoil. But next year, we're talking about down by New Orleans. We'll do a gathering. We've done a gathering, I don't know, 5 or 6 years in a row, whether it be Sedona, Savannah, wherever. But I think that next year we'll do one down by New Orleans. We were supposed to do it this year, but it ain't going to happen this year. I have just too much going on. Right, Renee? I remember it clear as day, him passing. He's alive. Mind blown. But we do have our expo that's going to be, we're hosting it. We put it on. We did the one in March, and I love the Savannah trip too. I do love Savannah. What's a gathering? So Lee, we used to have, for 6 solid years, we had the My Mystical Life Psychic Development membership. And every year we would go someplace. Savannah, Sedona. We were supposed to, during COVID, we were supposed to go to Salem, but I guess we only go to S places. But COVID hit and we all got COVID and we didn't go. So we try to find someplace wonderful to go. And everybody that wants to show up, we meet in person. We've always had the best fun. So, and then one year we did do October here in Ohio. So we always have the best fun because it's great to be able to do this, right? But we have so much fun when we get together. We do paranormal investigations and we just sit and have a great time. So, but that'll happen next year. And we will let everybody know well in advance of when we're going to do it so we can all get our stuff. Kim, right? You've been twice now, right, Kim? You've been twice? Has it been twice to Savannah? But we will start that back up next year. Yeah, it is always the investigation. So once. So the last time we went to Savannah we did a paranormal investigation. It was right after Portals to Hell with Jack Osborne had gone there, and we did the Savannah Theater. And so when I called to book, the 2 other people had booked, and then there was 28 of us. So you take 28 psychic intuitives and mediums, and you put them in a haunted location like that place. And it was a blast. Angela Maynard had a professional camera. She had the lens cap on it. I saw that, Keely. And she was like this, and the camera was taking pictures without her touching the camera. It was great, right? But those poor 2 people, because we got done at like 4:00 in the morning, those poor 2 people, because you ramp up all that energy, they didn't stick around. They were gone. And the one night we had gotten so much information for them to go over that it was amazing. It was cool. So we try to do fun stuff like that, but we're thinking down by New Orleans, we'll be able to hit the plantation. What's the name of the plantation? Why it just escaped me? Down that way. The plantation's super haunted. But when that happens, you all know, and we just have a blast. We have a blast. Maybe the economy will be a little better then. But yeah. So, or you can come to November and come to the expo up in Ohio here and have a blast there, because I don't know. You know what that is? It says, "Hey Lisa, have you logged your food?" That's my food. My food log thing for Nourish. Yeah, we have a good time. There's just something, it's great to be able to get online and everything, but it's when you meet in person, we have created lifelong friendships. We're very blessed. Sam and I are very blessed. Very blessed. Anyhow. Well, I suppose I have to go work in the house, at Augie's house. Okay. No, it was not it was his face. It was his face. Teresa, it was definitely that guy. I know it was. They can't tell me different. Berenstain spelled one way, and there is a cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom. I don't care what they say. They're full of shit. And Sinbad was in that movie. I watched it. You're a much better person than online. We think you're delightful. We had our own photographer, didn't even get charged, right? Yes. Has anybody noticed the influx of influencers dying young? Yes. I've noticed. There's a lot of people passing young, aren't there? Yeah. All right, everybody. I do have work to do. So Sam is actually attending his the service for his stepmother, and then he has to get right on the road to get back before they close the Mackinac again, because it's on and off that they close the Mackinac because of all the things falling off all the cables. So here's to him getting home safely today. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day and find something beautiful in your day. And Tom, Brian, or Renee, right? Tom Cruise had sunglasses on in that dance in Risky Business. He absolutely did. We could talk about this Mandela shit all day. We know what we lived through. All right. Everybody, have a wonderful day. Find light, find love, find joy. Feel divine, because you are. And if Mr. Fry were here, he'd say, may the light